The app lets you connect with people all over the world, and then when you're ready, you can broadcast live. So I wanted to find out why the state is behind on inspecting so many of them. Now that people do know about this, will you consider opening this up to other people in the public so they can avoid these long lines? How you reconcile the vote with your public statements in the past being in support of abortion rights? Lieutenant Governor Robinson, can you please clarify what you meant by the comments you made recently about some folks need killing? We've been reaching out to the press team now for several days now. We haven't heard anything. Can you give us a comment about everything that's happened? North Carolina Attorney General Josh Stein wants people to sign this petition. You talked about trying to get through your agenda. What are you doing now during the session to try to make those things happen? Well, you've got a supermajority. We haven't seen you here during session at all. It can also collect information about other phones in the area. The driver hit this sign and then kept going into the parking lot where they crashed and the car caught on fire. Surveillance cameras got the whole thing. In the mountains of western North Carolina, you'll see something you won't see anywhere else. On April 20th, or 420, inside this renovated bingo hall, the first sales of medical marijuana in state history took place.
I thought it looked amazing.
Carolyn West is chair of Quala Enterprises, LLC, which runs the Great Smoky Cannabis Company.
So here we have some of our product.
She showed me around the store, more than 20,000 square feet of space, offering people a variety of ways to consume cannabis.
My name is Michelle. I'm going to be your bud tender today.
Yes, bud tenders guide people in what may be best for them, from edibles to vapes to creams. What's the difference you notice in using the products versus before, maybe when you weren't?
More movability, more range of motion.
There's even a bakery where people can sample cookies, chocolates, and gummies, and later purchase ones dosed with THC. Is there some trial and error
Yes.
to kind of get it all figured out?
Yes, yeah.
What's the most popular thing I'm looking at over here?
Ooh, probably the sugar cookies.
If you buy 2 edibles, you would get a microdosed Rice Krispie treat today.
Not just anyone can walk in off the street and make a purchase. People have to apply for a medical marijuana card through the tribe's Cannabis Control Board, attesting they have one of several medical conditions such as cancer or post-traumatic stress disorder.
The people coming through are middle-aged and higher, and they are really here to get stuff to help them sleep, to help them go through their day without pain.
Chris Suttle, who survived a brain tumor and advocates for marijuana legalization, was one of the first customers.
Being able to come up here on opening day and see something that I've dreamed about for North Carolina, it was awe-inspiring.
The Tribal Council requires independent testing of everything sold here to try to ensure what people buy is safe to consume.
Having any individual have the sovereignty over their health is very important.
We drove about 15 minutes away to see where it all starts. Rows and rows of plants fill these houses, estimated to be worth tens of millions of dollars. It took years to prepare to get to the point of opening to the public, and there has been criticism. While marijuana is legal on tribal land, it's still illegal the moment you leave.
We have opened this up to law enforcement for them to come and just to see.
Some Republicans have pushed back, including Senators Tom Tillis and Ted Budd. They wrote a letter to Attorney General Merrick Garland and others saying the issue raises multiple questions on how North Carolina communities will be kept safe. They point out it's still illegal in the rest of the state and neighboring Tennessee.
We exercised our sovereignty and we use the best practices possible.
The next step, legalization of recreational marijuana on this land. Last year, the Cherokee held a referendum and voters approved full adult use. The Tribal Council just voted to greenlight that on Thursday, with sales expected to begin this summer. Already, Congressman Chuck Edwards, who represents the area, has filed the Stop Pot Act to withhold federal highway funds from states and tribes that allow recreational pot. Carolyn West says they'll press forward.
They are very grateful that they have that opportunity.
In Cherokee, Michael Hyland, CBS 17 News.
Hey, baby love.
At 4 years old, Andy Trepsick is facing challenges he never should have. He's living with cerebral palsy, he's blind, and he's recovering from major hip surgery.
We're gonna reach and grab. You ready?
For Andy, small accomplishments like that are big successes.
Pick him up. Hey!
But Andy was not born like this. His adoptive parents, Tracy and Alan Trepsick, vividly remember meeting Andy for the first time in the hospital when he was just an infant.
He had extensive brain damage from the shaking.
In 2012, Southern Pines police say Andy was home with his biological parents, Sterling Cummings and Brianne Fowler. He was just 3.5 weeks old when someone shook him, causing permanent brain damage and changing his life forever. This was clearly no accident.
clearly all of the medical experts, every medical expert that they spoke with, without a doubt said that this was absolutely no accident.
About 6 months later, police charged both his parents with child abuse. But the Trepsicks found justice was slow to come in this case.
Our frustration level continued to mount because we just felt like nothing was happening from the DA's office on Andy's behalf.
By 2015, the case was still not resolved. Police arrested Sterling Cummings again, this time charging him with strangling the woman you see in these photos. Another 9 months went by, and then this happened. The district attorney's office presented the Trepsicks with a plan to roll both cases together and offer Cummings a plea deal. That deal? Guilty pleas on the assault and child abuse charges. But the sentence shocked the Trepsicks: 45 days in prison and 5 years probation. Cummings took the deal.
The DA's position was that it was a hard case to try because neither defendant was saying much of anything.
Andy deserved for his story to be told before a jury.
The deal was reached just this year and comes amid a crisis of confidence in the social services system in Moore County.
You shouldn't have to almost die to get taken out of a home in this county.
In April, 23-month-old Ryland Ott wandered from his home and drowned in a pond. A judge had recently returned Ryland to his mother's custody over the objections of his foster parents. Social Services Board member and County Commissioner Catherine Graham is arranging an independent investigation.
I think it will further assure the public that we are covering all bases.
Pam Reed was Ryland's and Andy's guardian ad litem. She says she's concerned about the priority being placed on kids in the system.
The district attorney office had an obligation to Andy to proceed and to speak on his behalf. And I don't think they did that.
For the last several weeks, CBS North Carolina has been working to get answers from District Attorney Maureen Kruger's office. After denying multiple requests for interviews, we went to the office. The assistant district attorney who handled Andy's case, Warren McSweeney, said he couldn't comment because the case is still pending against Andy's biological mother, Brianne Fowler. The Trepsicks shared this email they received from him about the plea deal. Quote, "I understand you will not be happy with that decision, but it is something that I have thought long and hard about and have given careful consideration to the facts and evidence surrounding the case."
I don't feel like the DA's office fought for Andy.
The Trepsicks still want the DA's office to pursue the case against Fowler. However, we discovered this document filed in early August to destroy a DNA sample. The prosecutor checked this box, which reads, quote, "No conviction has occurred, at least 3 years have passed since the date of arrest, and no active prosecution is occurring."
I feel like he's been violated a second time by the judicial system.
In the years since this all started, the Trepsicks also adopted Andy's biological sister. As trying as it's all been, the Trepsicks are still committed to Andy.
He keeps defying the odds. You know, they keep telling us, you know, he's never really gonna be able to communicate with you. He's never gonna be able to hold on to anything. He's never gonna do anything on purpose, but he's done all those things.